all about our top 10 tips for new teachers. Personally, my first year of teaching, I gained about 20 pounds because I was working like 80 hours a week. And let them in on your life. If there's some big personal thing happening, like I'm going to be training for a half marathon this fall, I'm going to tell the kids about it. The relationships you're building with your students and the impact that you have on them as a person means a lot more to them than the curriculum that you're teaching them.
We gon' walk it out and move.
Hi, it's Chelsea from Teaching in Pearls and welcome back to my channel. So today I have teamed up with Vanessa from My Second Grade Life and a few other teachers from YouTube to bring you a video all about our top 10 tips for new teachers. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. I want to give you guys, your arm is in it, just it doesn't matter, but I'm just letting you know.
Can I do the top 10 tips for teachers' boyfriends?
He said he was going to clean while I was doing my video, but yet here we are.
How am I going to vacuum while you're doing your video?
That's true. Okay, I'll let you be in it. Hi, it's Chelsea from Teaching in
And
Pearls.
Brandon, don't forget me.
We have changed plans now, so I'm going to be giving you my top 10 tips for new teachers. And there will be a part 2, apparently. Anyways, my first year of teaching was lucky enough that I got the job in like April of school when I was still student teaching. It was down back in Cincinnati, even though I student taught and went to college 4 hours away. But my first job was teaching grades 6 through 8 choir, so 6 bells of 6th, 7th, 8th grade choir, and also high school show choir. So that's what my first year was. But my top 10 tips definitely aren't specific to specialist teachers or music teachers or whatever you like to call yourself. They're pretty broad and pretty general because I've done a few trainings for first year teachers and I feel like I've learned a little bit. I also started a new job last year teaching K-6 music, so I sort of felt like I was a first year teacher again because I was relearning everything because I hadn't taught those grade levels before. So my number one top 10 teacher tips. These really aren't in order. They're actually sort of in backwards order. So number 1, I would say be yourself completely. So like let your kids know what kind of person you are outside of the classroom, obviously to some extent, and let them in on your life a little bit so that you become more of a person and not just their teacher. And also like be yourself, be weird if you're weird. Like I'm super weird. My kids make fun of me all the time, but that's completely warranted. So just number 1, be yourself. Don't try to be like some like stodgy professional person. I guess it would depend on your district because some districts like don't want you to be yourself, but I've never worked in those situations. So number 1, be yourself. Number 2, know everyone's names as soon as possible. Know everyone's names before you do anything else at all. It's harder or easier said than done. My first 2 years of teaching, I only had 150 students, but this year and last year, I have about 700. So learning names took me honestly till December, but I tried really hard. In addition to learning names, learn families. Especially if you're at a big grade level band of school, learning families is really helpful and just helps the kids know that you value them more as just like in their classroom. You want to know about their family and who their brothers and sisters are that go to the school. Number 3, focus on relationships above curriculum. And you might work in a district that would disagree with that, but I personally, that's my philosophy, is that the relationships you're building with your students and the impact that you have on them as a person means a lot more to them than the curriculum that you're teaching them. Personally, when I think of my favorite teachers, I'm never like, wow, that person helped me so much with English or whatever, or she taught me so much about singing, although they did, but that's not what I remember them for. Like, I don't remember them for the curriculum. I remember them for like being a nice person and like caring about me. Like, do you remember your teachers for like, wow, they taught math so well? Or is it like, he was a really cool guy and he cared about me?
Yeah, I had a teacher in school. Her name was Miss Tomlinbrunner. She was really old. I actually don't remember her for being really nice. She was actually probably one of the meanest teachers we had, but that motivates me more than people being nice.
So you liked the meanest teacher that you had as your favorite teacher?
Yeah, but I learned a lot. She taught this technical writing class, and I feel like it helped me a lot.
But I've never heard you talk about her, and I've heard you talk about...
I've talked about her before, you just don't listen.
But I have heard you talk about the one guy who was like also one of your coaches or something. That's the guy that you bring up from high school. And a Spanish teacher who like teased you.
Oh yeah, Miss Brown.
Yeah. Focus on relationships first, or focus on being the meanest teacher in the school, because apparently you have students like Brandon who love mean teachers. So just what I say, just throw it out the window. Number 4, I sort of segued to this in number 1. I haven't looked at this list in like 2 days, so I didn't mean to. Number 4, let your students into your life and learn about theirs. So I really like to learn who my students are living with, what their situations are, and not necessarily prying or asking these questions, but if you talk to kids, they will tell you, especially younger kids. Younger kids will tell you everything that you need to know about them. And let them in on your life. If there's some big personal thing happening, like I'm gonna be training for a half marathon this fall, I'm gonna tell the kids about it, and they're gonna think it's cool, like, and interesting. When I go to concerts, I tell them that I went to the concert. Obviously, I'm a music teacher, so it's a little bit different, but like things that are relatable, going to sporting events, going to things out of town, like the kids want to hear about that stuff. And I know teaching in an urban area where my kids don't really leave their neighborhood, it's nice for them to hear about all my experiences, how I went to Nepal this summer and I've been to Nicaragua, because that really expands like their idea of what is capable when they leave and when they grow up to be adults. So let them into your life and become a part of their lives outside of just teaching the curriculum.
You never let me into your life.
Yeah, I wish you weren't in my life sometimes, like right now. Number 5.
I'm just getting up closer to you.
Number 5, before the first day of school, have a behavior system in place and a reward system. Not just a behavior system, but also a reward system, and do not sway from them. So there's that quote, it's like, don't smile before Thanksgiving. I definitely don't agree with that, but I do agree with don't break your own rules. Well, yeah, because they're saying you need to start off really strict, which I agree, you do need to start off more strict and you can loosen up. You cannot start loose and become strict later on in the year. The kids will have lost the respect already. You can't gain that back. But I wouldn't say don't smile, don't have fun. That's different. But do not sway from your rules. If you say something is a rule, then you need to follow through with what the consequence is. Because if you don't, then the kids are going to notice that and they're going to know that you're not consistent and that you don't actually stick to the rules. Same way, if you say, oh, I'm going to shout out one kid a day for doing the right thing, or I'm going to give out whatever those cute little badges are that elementary teachers do sometimes, those little sticker badge things or whatever, you better do it, because if you don't, then they're going to know that what you say isn't always true because you don't follow through with things. So especially for, I think that goes for all grade levels, because I've taught K to 12 now in the school setting, and all grade levels have thrived off of consistency and off of rewards and consequences. I will say I've mostly taught in urban situations. I haven't really taught many suburban students ever, so I don't know, maybe they don't care as much, but for urban students it's really important to have the structure, but not just for discipline. Like, your whole thing isn't just discipline, it's also rewarding the kids who don't need the discipline consequences all the time. And if you're interested in a reward behavior system, I have a video all about how I do mine, and I will put it in the description box below.
Yeah.
Number 6, ask for all the help. You are going to need so much help your first year. I thought that I sort of had a good idea of what I was doing because my cooperating teacher for student teaching was amazing and taught me a lot, but I had no idea, like just literally down to where do I park? Like, I didn't even know where do you park? And that's actually important because my car came on the announcements the first week of school at my first job because I parked in the bus zone on accident because it was just looked like the regular parking lot. Well, actually, to be fair, I had just gotten a new car and they had to fix something on it, so the people from Kia Motors took my car and brought it back, and they parked it in the wrong spot, but like I wasn't, like, I've been around long enough to think, oh, they might put it in the bus zone, like I didn't know. Things like how to use a laminator, like I had to ask a teacher down the hall how to use a laminator because I had never used one before, and that's like sort of embarrassing to have to ask for those things that seem really simple, but no one cares because they want to help you. They know by helping you, they're giving the students the best opportunity to learn, so no one's going to be against helping you. Wish they could see them. Come here, Ouija. We're not playing with this right now. Ma'am, get down. Number 7, document as much as you can. Like, I love the idea of having a book where you put down like funny quotes that your kids say throughout the school year. I wish I had done that between then and now. I might start it this year because it just sounds hilarious. Take pictures of your room, even if you're like not proud of it. Doesn't mean you have to post them anywhere. It doesn't mean you have to like share everything, but document it for yourself, because I know the first year is so stressful and overwhelming and actually just sort of feels like you fell into a tornado for the first year because it just goes so fast. not necessarily a bad tornado, but just moves really quickly. I wish I would have documented a lot more, like what my classroom looked like, what my kids said, like what I was upset about, what I was happy about, like all of those things. Try to document as much as you can, whether it's in a vlog style or writing down if you like to journal. Maybe at the end, the last 5 minutes of the day before you leave, you write down just a note from the day. Just something, because you're gonna appreciate it in the long run, because you learn so much after your first year.
God.
She picks the crunchiest toy they own to play with while I'm filming. No, you are not playing with the avocado. Get the bone.
Look at how sad she is.
The bone is quiet. Good girl. Do the bone right now. Number 8, and this sort of ties in with it, do not compare yourself to Instagram teachers. Like, the Instagram teacher community is wonderful, but it's a blessing and it's a curse, because I even see stuff and I'm like, wow, I wish my room looked that good. And then joke's on everyone, because I posted a picture for Teacher Feed Up Friday, and like I had just cleaned my room because I was having a sub that next day or the next Monday or whatever. My room is never that clean, and I had like hundreds of people, because Teachers Pay Teachers shared it, so hundreds of people were commenting, oh wow, must be nice to have a clean room, wish my room was that clean. I'm like, ha ha ha, that's funny, because my room's always a hot mess. So don't be discouraged by seeing these picture perfect classrooms and these wonderful engaging lessons, because you're not seeing everything. You're just seeing the highlight reel. People are sharing with you what they want to share, and a lot of people don't want to share the negative stuff, which is fine, because sometimes we need just like that positive inspiration all the time. But look for the realistic stuff and let that encourage you, and just don't compare yourself to the Instagram teacher community, because it's hard to keep up with.
He's trying to figure out how to Mission Impossible this over to that other table to get to the alligator.
No.
Oh, shit. She waited for the moment that she knew you were paying attention the least to grab that. Also, I don't know how much to water this thing, man. It's a cactus, so I felt like you don't really need to water it, but it's like not doing too well. Number 9, over plan. So plan more than you need to for everything. Plan more lessons than you need to. Plan more activities than you need to, because it's always better to be over prepared than to be scrambling for something to do in the last 15 minutes of class. And I'm definitely a proponent of working till the bell ends. If you are on like 45-minute classes or something, I mean, if you're in there all day, that's different. I definitely think brain breaks are important. But as far as you not being prepared, over plan as much as you can, and then you can always adjust the next day, and you have extra material. So win, win, win. Number 10, which is obviously something I'm very, very supportive of, since this is sort of one of my part-time jobs. You need to be practicing self-care. That means working out. I don't know if you ever worked out before. You haven't. You've got to get physical activity added into your schedule. You need to be eating healthy, because if you are fueling your body with crap, then you are going to be crap, basically. And you need to find a supportive group of friends outside of people you work with. Like, you can't just hang out with teachers at your school. You have to find some other community, whether it be family or friends or people from social media that you just want to vent to. You have to have a group outside of school that you can talk to about any issues or any wins or whatever. But as far as working out and eating healthy, personally, my first year of teaching, I gained about 20 pounds because I was working like 80 hours a week between full-time middle school choir, after-school show choir, musicals. Saturday we'd have show choir competitions, and Sunday I'd work my church job. So I worked 7 days a week for 2 months straight, which was really fun. But in between that time, and not only was there lots of stress and just unhappiness in general, also I was eating fast food a lot because I was not planning ahead and not planning my meals. Now I have meal prep on Sundays to make sure I have healthy options ready throughout the week, because I know I don't have a lot of time to sit down and cook dinner or anything. But that stuff is really so important, and just making sure that you're taking care of yourself, because it will catch up to you. I know that you're gonna have a lot of adrenaline your first year and you think you can conquer the world and not need to worry about like eating healthy or working out, but that's just not the case, and it will catch up. And do you really want to invest in your health now, or invest in medical bills later when it all catches up to you, which is the sad truth that I had to learn for myself. So I just take it as a forewarning. Teaching is extremely stressful, although it is very rewarding and I love it. It's also really stressful, so you need to make sure that you're taking time for self-care, putting the schoolwork away on the weekends or after school or whatever you decide to do, and
giving you some time to yourself so that you don't burn out. Last but not least, just enjoy every minute of the craziness. I loved my first year of teaching. I don't remember a lot of it because I feel like I blacked out the whole year because I was so like overwhelmed, but in a good way. I really enjoyed it. I thought my staff was very accommodating. I asked a lot of questions, but I needed to figure out what I was doing, and the kids were very receptive to that. So hopefully you're in a good situation where your students are excited to have a first year teacher. My students loved having a first year teacher because we were sort of close in age, and they thought that the fact that I was interested in some of the stuff they were, like I was playing Pokemon Go while they were playing Pokemon Go, like that's pretty cool. Yeah, when I started
10 years older than them.
No, not at all. When I started teaching, I was 21 years old.
Oh,
no.
Like in your...
Like my first year of teaching. My high schoolers were like 4 years younger than me, and my middle schoolers were like 6 to 8 years younger than me. But yeah, so hopefully you're in a situation where your students are excited to have you. If you're taking the time to watch these videos that we're putting out and to learn tips, you're gonna be a great teacher because you're investing stuff that you don't have to try to set yourself up for success. So I think that you will be amazing. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Check out all the other videos that are related to this topic in the description box. I linked all my friends' videos. And shout out to Vanessa for helping me come up with this idea so that we could put this out for you guys before the school year, because I'm really excited to watch all the other videos too, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
We gon' walk it out and move.